Is there a reason you didn't choose Canada over United States?
One of my friends faced this problem with Arizona State. With he didn't take TOEFL, he took IELTS, and IELTS because some glitch in their end, they could not deliver his score for 3 months. So he lost out on the fall admission and had to get reapply for spring.
What is the total cost of UT Austin? Like, what's the cost of living in UT Austin? What are some of the harsh truth now that you've finished your masters, you're working? What are some of the truths that you wish, like, I wish I knew these things before coming to United States? Would you recommend UT Austin for people who are thinking about like, oh, should I go or not? Before you watch this, I just want to say that if you're planning to come to United States, you have to crack F1 visa interview, and that is going to be the most important interview of your life because that can change your life. And guess what? Many students get rejected because they don't understand what visa officers are thinking and how are they making that decision. To solve this problem, I made the ultimate F1 visa course with a visa officer who served in Mumbai Consulate and Delhi Consulate for 5 years. She approved and denied more than 40,000 visas. So she knows and understands how visa officer is thinking, what they think about approving and denying. I'll give you a quick sneak peek. Here's what our course look like, and it is comprehensive. Each sessions are like long. There is DS 160, entirely step-by-step process, preparing what did you have to do day before, day during, what to say, what not to say, what to wear, documents you need to take, what to expect at the interview, what is the successful criteria, if you had refusal, how to overcome that, what are the most common questions, how to answer finance related questions, mock interview, and bonus guides as well. Trust me, this is the most comprehensive F1 visa course that you will ever need to watch. So if you're interested, link is in the description. And now I'll let you enjoy the video. Thank you, Saurav, for doing this again. This is part two. For people who might have not watched it, they should go and watch our your job hunting journey, which is a lot of people reached out to me saying that they felt that they could relate to your story and they were in your shoes, and thank you for making it. So again, thank you for being here. Today we're going to talk about UT Austin because that's where you did your masters. But before we get that started, and people who might have not watched it, let's do a quick intro. Where are you from? Where are you right now? What you did and all of that.
All right, yeah. Hello, I'm Saurav. I'm originally from New Delhi, India. At the moment, I'm based in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I'm currently working as a senior data scientist at Domino's. I have a bachelor's in computer engineering and a master's in business analytics from University of Texas at Austin.
Nice. All right. So before we get started, let's do a quick profile check. Like, where were you before you came to United States? What was your TOEFL, GRE, IELTS, bachelor's? Did you have work experience? Like, what did your profile look like?
Yeah, so well, before I graduated in 2019 from my undergrad in computer engineering from school in Delhi, and I had a GRE of 328, I think, 170 in quant and
Mm.
158 in verbal, and my TOEFL was 117, so 30, 30, 28, and 29. Yeah, my GPA was 8.4, and I had about 3 years of work experience, like full time work experience, and 2 years I was working part time during my undergrad with a startup and like in a stealth mode. And then I had several research internships as well. Also, I had a couple of research papers.
Wow. Okay. So solid profile. Of course, that makes sense why you got into UTD Austin. And so this 3 years of work experience, full time. What was the role? Was it data or was it software engineering?
So the title of the role, like I got a couple of promotions, but the title of title of my final role was a consultant, a data science consultant. So I worked in, because it's a consultancy, so you get to work in all aspects of
Mm.
data science, be it business analytics, be it deployment, model building, stuff like that. So I had a full stack data science experience before I came over here, but my actual title was senior data scientist when I left.
Mm. Got it. Okay. What you're going to watch is an amazing story. But before you watch that, I just want to quickly say that all of these story, I compile the key insights from these stories and all the podcasts that I do. And I put this in my free exclusive newsletter community. Every week, more than 16,000 people receive my newsletter and they love it. And here are some of the examples you can see. This was a podcast on George Mason universities, and you can see how to network and 10% cold emailing, powerful LinkedIn techniques, and so on and so forth. So if you're interested in becoming part of this exclusive newsletter community, absolutely free. Link is in the description, or you can go to udj.com/newsletter. So obviously something must have happened. You are like, 3 years of data scientist, senior data scientist. You must be making hopefully good money. Something triggered you that, okay, I should do masters. Why? Like, why did you think of doing masters in first place?
Yeah, so a little bit of background. I have a family of crazy academics. My dad is an engineer and with like two masters, and my mom has three masters, and my younger sister is attending med school. So it's a story of a stereotypical middle class Asian family. So getting a
Hmm.
master's was always on cards for me. But like on a serious note, I started learning about machine learning in my sophomore year during my undergrad, and did a couple of research internships, and eventually I decided I need to get a job doing data science or this. During my job, I realized I wanted to pursue a master's to understand how to leverage data science in business effectively. Because I had the technical skills, I felt like I lagged a bit in the business aspect of things. That's why
Hmm.
instead of going for a pure data science program, I selected a business analytics so I can get to work on stuff. Like business analytics, you don't make a machine learning, like you don't make a model just to solve a problem. You make a model to increase revenue. So
Hmm.
thinking from that perspective really helped me out a lot, and it's paying off in my current job as well.
Nice. I love it. So the goal for you was to upskill, but then obviously also the career opportunities you would get after that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. You decided I want to do masters for what all the reasons that you mentioned. What is the next step that you took? Like, okay, I know that I want to do the masters. You knew that in the engineering, when you were doing your engineering, you wanted to do the masters, but then while you were working, you decided, okay, this is it. I am going to go for it. When, like, what's the step that you took, and timeline wise, like, when was that?
Yeah, all right. So after deciding, I need to go for a master's, my first step was to conduct a thorough research on LinkedIn. I delved in LinkedIn, searching profiles of individuals either who are either enrolled in the program at the moment or have graduated and are working in the roles that I want to work for, like once I graduate.
Mm.
So I,
Mm.
made a list of, the achievements in their profiles, like the scores and like various parameters, scores they got on GRE, TOEFL, what kind of experience they had, what kind of projects they worked on, and extracurriculars and stuff like that. So I could build my profile the same way. So that would increase my chances of admissions by a lot.
Wow. Okay. So this is fascinating to me. I love it because this very similar advice I give. So first, can you talk about the timeline? Like, when was that time that you decided that, okay, I want to go, and then how long was that research thing that you did?
Right, right. My program started to, scheduled to commence in 2020, like in the summer of 2022. I strategically aligned my actions with the application timeline. The early admission deadline was on October 18th, 2022. So, 2021, sorry. So by June 2021, I had my GRE and TOEFL scores in hand, and I did the research in 2020, so it came in handy while I was applying in 2021.
Theoretically, 6 months of research, if let's say if you were to go that year, then it would be December to June is when you would be doing your research. June you give your GRE TOEFL, and then summer you would be here for your masters. Okay. So once you started doing this LinkedIn research, have a feeling that what you did is you went through university first. You must have had like a list of X amount of universities I want to go to. Then you found out the people who studied in this university and your desired role, and then you saw what kind of profile they have, what are they doing, how much money they are making, and then you started sorting down, and that's the research you did. So
Right.
uh, so in your case, the list was, how did you come up with a list?
So there were several factors. The first thing I saw right out straight off the bat is the rankings, which
Mm,
isn't super conclusive of how university should be. But yeah, what can you do? So the number one university in this program was MIT. The second was UCLA, and third was UT Austin in the US. And UT Austin had ranked number six globally for this program
mm,
that year. So all in all, it was amazing university, and I made a list of five universities that would be in my dream school, three that would be reach, and
like
two,
moderate and then
yeah,
safety.
moderate, and then two safety. So I had a plan to like not like I had a plan to apply for the dream schools first in the first admission period. So I submitted the applications by October 18th, which was a deadline for most of these. And by December, for the three schools that I had applied for, I already got accepted into all of those. And by Jan, I had applied to UCLA as well, just to see where I stand, and I got accepted in that as well. So yeah, well, I
Nice.
didn't apply for MIT because it's really expensive in Boston, and well, I already had my admits, and I was like, okay, what the hell? I got lazy. So
Okay, cool.
yeah.
um I love it. So now, and now I want to dive a little deeper in the research of the people that you did, and the list you made. But when you were looking at the people, did you reach out to them, that, hey, you know, I'm planning to apply, can you tell me, like, what kind of questions did you ask, like how did you do that research part?
Absolutely, yeah. I bought first thing I bought was LinkedIn Premium, so I could send in mails, and
Mm.
yeah, it's really not that expensive in India. It's really expensive over here. So buy LinkedIn Premium from India if you're coming. Anyhow,
Mm.
so I reached out to a lot of people, and so I didn't want to waste their time. So for when I got the admits, then I reached out to a lot of people. What kind of university, like what university should I go for in order to get an idea of how these people are, how their vision is, and what do they think about the program, because nobody is more adept in answering this question than someone who just graduated from it. And people usually know, like whether they loved it or not, and what's the shortcomings, and how's the market. So in 2022, everything was going going well in the job market. So most of the answers that I got were very similar. Like they were able to secure multiple offers, and they loved the program because it's a B school program. So there's a lot of collaboration and stuff like that. So it's a different experience if you're coming from an engineering background to a B school. It's a
Mm.
totally different experience. So yeah,
Mhm.
people mostly love the program. And even before I was selecting the universities, I was reaching out to people on text, and like about several questions, like about the role that they were targeting or they were already in, and the kind of work they do. It's super rude to ask people about the kind of money they're making, so you could check it on the websites. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, so again, you had admits from four university. You filtered these people. You started reaching out to them. You asked them, "Hey, how was the program? Where do you work? What do you do? What kind of projects you worked on? So on and so forth." That gave you a clear picture of, like, narrowing down to which one do you wanna accept. Okay,
Right.
um, got it. So sorry, like, we are all over the place, but I love doing this. Um, I want to deep dive into the admission process, because these universities looks a little different than normal ones. UCLA, UT Austin. Uh, does it have same SOP, LORs, and then go from there, or is it different?
So UCLA was a bit different, as in they asked for an SOP, I think, or it was UC Berkeley. It's been some time, but yeah, it was a little bit different than the others. The others were UT Austin, UC Davis, and University of British Columbia in Canada. So they mostly had similar kind of questions, not exact same, but similar. So you could, get the inspiration from like one paragraph that you wrote, and you could answer all of these questions. Like if you build your main SOP, then you're well adept in answering any of these questions because they will be a part of your SOP.
Hmm.
So so I had a set of questions made, for each of those, but they had a high like inspiration from each other, like
Hmm.
high correlation with each other.
Yeah. And all of this thing, did you do it by yourself or did you use like a Indian consultancy?
So I did get an Indian consultancy, but it was of no help, and
Of course.
and I
Yeah.
ended up doing the whole process by myself. And people over there, they were suggesting safety schools as Stevens and UT Dallas. I'm not bagging on these schools. If it's good for your program, then it's good for your program. It wasn't for mine. And people were like, you won't ever be able to get into UT Austin. It's a really up there. It's out of your dream league as well. I'm like, you don't know
Hmm.
anything.
Hmm.
You're out of touch with
Hmm.
the current market. I mean, after I applied, like after got into UT Austin, they were all surprised, and I was like, shoot, I should have applied for MIT as well, because
Hmm.
who knows? MIT has
Yeah.
like 40 people in the business analytics program, and two are like they select two people from India. But
Hmm.
I would never know if I would have gotten it or not.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, one of the consistent theme that I'm noticing in you is like you are a heavy research person. It's like you try to learn everything about it before you like
Right.
get into it. Uh, this is from my knowledge. Like, how did you learn about these universities? Is it pretty much online? Was there a app, website, something that you used, or uh, what kind of like where would you do the research? Like,
Yeah.
40 people in MIT and
Right. Right. So on like it's pretty much everything is online. You could go to the university and see the class profile
mm,
for each program by filtering by the year, and you would get like all the information that you need, especially for business schools. They have information like what was the average package for all the students, like all the international students, Indian students, and stuff like various filters. So I mean, everything is online. You just have to spend a lot of time doing the research, and
yeah,
nobody's
of
gonna
course.
like. I learned it the hard way. Nobody's gonna do that for you. You have to do it for yourself. No
Yep.
matter how many consultancies or consultants you hire, they're always gonna be playing safe. So they can maintain their reputation. But you know yourself the best, and you can talk to the people who have already gotten a program, and you'll be able to know, where does your profile stand in front of you know those profiles.
Before we move on to the next part, I want to quickly talk about that LinkedIn is very important when it comes to job search, and you want to optimize your LinkedIn before you come to United States or while you're looking for the job. And here is the 100-page guide that I built, and along with that, I also have a course on LinkedIn. I'm going to give you a quick sneak peek of the 100-page guide. Feel free to check it out and let me know what you think. Here's the guide that I built, and you can see there's a lots and lots of screenshots and comments and strategies and how to apply and how to network and so on and so forth. And again, I know that LinkedIn is going to be your online resume. So if you want to check out, link is in the description. And now I'll let you enjoy the video. Now let's talk about how many, because you've obviously applied to UT Austin, UCLA, you've touched on it, but can you tell us like what is the list that you applied and how many admits did you get and what rejects did you get?
Right. So I applied to UCLA, UT Austin, UC Davis, and University of British Columbia, and I got 4 on 4 admits.
Nice. And I noticed that you said Canada. Is there a reason you didn't choose Canada over United States?
So yeah, there were several reasons. I applied to University of British Columbia because like it has an amazing reputation, first of all, and the campus looks really cool, and yeah, and I was thinking maybe if I was tussling with this decision of the whole visa process in the US versus Canada, and I was thinking maybe it'll be better for me if I get to a school in Canada and immigrate there in a couple of years versus US where you might not be able to do that in your lifetime. So
Mm. Okay. But you still didn't choose Canada. You still chose US. Why is that?
yeah, so one thing that I wanted to prove to myself was I could work with the best people there are, and my dream was to work in Silicon Valley and work with the grades and in big companies and walk with them shoulder to shoulder and stuff like that. So I just wanted to work in an environment that was considered one of the best and only for the best. So I could prove to myself that, I'm capable. And
Mm.
once I do that, then, there is no stop. I could go anywhere else. I could go to Canada like tomorrow.
Yeah, true.
Doors are
True.
always open. Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's usually what I would recommend too. Like if you are not someone who was too worried about it, like come to US, 3 years of OPT, and if didn't work out, Canada still has the door open for you. Especially you'll have like a lot more work experience, and it's all point based, so your points will be really high regardless. Okay. So now you got four admits. Obviously all these are like really good university. uh, your profile is strong, but one of the other things that probably helped you in getting the admits is most likely your essays or SOPs or LORs. Can you tell us what did you write, or what what kind of things did you, how did you frame your SOPs and LORs, so that way people can learn and maybe perhaps get admits in UT Austin and all the other fancy schools.
Right. So for this program and like in B school, we don't have an essay or an SOP at UT Austin, but there are several like essay questions. Like there's a video question about you can find it on YouTube. A lot of people submit their entries, like upload it on YouTube and then submit the link, and they keep it open. So one of the questions was about you have already graduated from UT Austin from this program, and now you're pitching your profile to a potential employer. So you can
Mm.
talk about like give a like a sales pitch about yourself. Like I graduated from this and this and this school with these degrees, and this was the coursework, and I am adept in doing this and this and this. So that's why I'll be a great asset for your company because I've already have experience working with clients from these and these countries and stuff like that.
What do you think they are trying to judge in that? Is it your passion for the program that you're going into?
I think the video essays are usually for them to see if you can talk properly and how do you hold yourself
Mm.
and like it's just a part of the process. Besides that, there are multiple essay questions as well, other essay questions like why the school and why do you want to do the job that you want to do, and like there are three essay questions, one video question, and an interview nowadays. uh, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. And so prep for this, like how did you prep your SOPs and answers for this? Because I think that's probably the most important part. Like how did you do this?
So since we don't have an SOP, but there are essays with which are like limit bound, like there's a word limit. So it was tricky summarizing the essay while trying to make like trying to make it stand out. uh, I mean, this was before ChatGPT, so it was really tricky for us. But now, I mean, you could take help from various LLMs and stuff. But what was the question again? So framing the SOPs, like there are various videos out there that tell you about how to start an SOP and then delve into your background and then how your experience would make you a great candidate for this particular university, and then do some buttering up about the university. How do you hope to develop both personally and professionally during this 1 year program, and like the word limit is 250 words.
Mm.
And Yeah, this I started out with a code like only way to raise a well-rounded gentry of leaders. Like it's not a cheesy code that you find like data is a new oil and stuff like that.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, so my previous achievements, and then I've completed multiple online courses. Something about the program that
Mm,
um, so we could just show this thing,
yeah.
and then I can we can write like about my profile, previous work experience, like the what do you call it, achievements and that, and then something
Hmm.
about your profile, and like cheesing up the university and ending on a strong note.
Yeah. And but this is not your SOP. This is just one of the
Questions,
question they
yes.
asked you, right? Like, okay.
So other question
And
is this.
mm, imagine that you're in a job interview. The interview asks you the time you had to solve a problem, what the results were, how would you answer it? Oh, sweet.
Right.
Okay. And then they
And
give you that word limit as well. Like, okay, keep it
right,
under
right,
this much.
250 words. And then you explain to them how the situations were tumultuous, and still you were able to answer,
Mm,
like you were able to hold your own and lead a team. So I used an example of when I was thrust into the position to lead a team out of nowhere, and I did a
mm,
great job, and how you delivered the project and kept streamline everything, and
mm. Yeah, this is
how.
a typical star like situation,
Right, right,
task, action, result.
right.
Nice. There you go. Um, but so this is for UT Austin specifically. What about the other schools, like you said, UCLA and the other ones? Like, do they all had questions, or do they had like an SOP and the answers were similar, and you just put it in an SOP format?
So for UCLA, they wanted a personal statement, and they had like several points, as in like, what do you want to add to that particular statement?
Hmm.
I still have the UT Austin one because I sent it to someone else for
And they
review.
also got it. Yeah.
Yeah, don't mention that in the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I sent it to someone else so they could, who was applying, so they could match like what kind of things I mentioned and what they should edit out about their
Mm.
like edit about their resume. But yeah, I don't have the other ones on me right now. But if I find them, then I'll share it with you.
Okay. Cool. And then what about LORs? Like, did you like how did you got those LORs? Whom did you get it from?
Right. So for this particular program, MSBA, you or any program in business school for that matter, you need professional LORs. Like for most of the schools, they asked about two professional LORs from your managers, VPs, or higher ups, and they had it's not just like a random LOR that you could submit. They had a list of questions in the LOR, like how did the candidate perform, like do this and this and this, or perform this? Have you seen them providing guidance to someone else, and how did they stand out and stuff like that? How are they technically like if they're technically adept, and what kind of technologies they worked with and stuff like that. So they were like a list of 15 questions that the manager needed to answer, which is tricky because usually people are very hesitant about writing LORs in the first place, and then you ask them to write 15 answers. So they would just send me the outline of all the question. I would send them like a basic summary of what they could write about, and then they would modify it based on their own
Mm.
experience about like opinion about me. So yeah,
Mm.
two professional LORs, but one of the schools required me to share an academic LOR as well, which was I think UBC. So I had to reach out to my professors and pay them a visit. Beg them to write an LOR for me, which was which wasn't hard for me because I had worked on a couple of research papers with those professors, so they were happy to do it.
Mm. Got it. Is in your opinion, is it better to have it from like a corporate place, or is it better to have it from professor
So they specifically mentioned two LOR should be from your
from
job.
your work?
Yeah,
Okay.
and this program had limit of, like, they suggested us to have at least 3 years of experience. They Most of the candidates had like an average experience of 3 years, and who were
So if someone wants to apply to UT Austin, they can't be fresher. They have to have an experience.
there have been a couple of cases of people who have had less than 1 year of experience who got into the program, but they had something else about their profile that stood out.
Gotcha. Okay, got it.
Yeah, one thing that I want to mention about the application process is that it's a tough process, and you need to have a lot of things lined up. Even if you have something right on your end, you have to make sure the admissions committee have all the things that they need by the time they look into your profile to make an informed decision about your candidature. Like you need to send them, like you need they need to have your GRE and TOEFL scores, they need to have their LORs and everything, so you need to make sure that people, send like people write up your LORs as soon as possible, as like within a week of you submitting your application. And
Hmm.
one of my friends faced this problem with Arizona State. With he didn't take TOEFL, he took IELTS, and IELTS, because some glitch in their end, they could not deliver his score for 3 months. So he lost out on the fall admission and had to get like reapply for
Mm.
spring.
Mm. Yeah, so just be proactive and like do things on time. Cool. Okay, now obviously you picked UC. Sorry, yeah, obviously you
Uni
picked
Austin.
UT Austin compared to UCLA, even though UCLA has a higher ranking than UT Austin. What kind of reason did you like? You're like, okay, I want to pick UT Austin over UCLA or your other choices.
Right. So it's like technically they have a higher ranking, but it's just because of other stuff, like not because of the curriculum, but there are a lot of things,
Mm.
components that go into ranking a school, and it's just 5.4 points. Like UT Austin is 79.6 and UCLA is 80. So
Yeah,
there's
I
not
mean,
much of
I
a
at
difference.
the end, like I feel like if it's top 10, like it's pretty much same. Yeah, maybe like if it's an IB, maybe a little different, but yeah, you're right. Like
Yeah, they are
it's
called public IVs, UT Austin and UCLA both.
uh, right. Like I'm saying, if they are
Yeah.
all like IB leagues, then
Hmm.
it's like you pick one.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
almost similar.
yeah.
Um,
So the like most important criteria that I looked at was spending. UCLA, the tuition was about 80,000, and UT Austin was about 56,000. But UCLA program is 15 months and UT Austin is 10 months. So like course per course, or like, time wise, it's almost the same. But
mm,
I would rather spend less money and get the same degree. Also, with UCLA, like program is in LA, and the cost of living there was 35,000 for an year. So the I-20 would be about 100,000, and for UT
mm,
Austin, it was 20,000 for an year, and I had to live there for like 10 months, so less than a year. So it was
mm,
77,000. So
mm,
I mean, then you have to, like, I already had prepared, like gotten a loan and everything, applied for a loan and everything, so I had the documents to show my finances to the visa officer. And then if I had got, like, I got the UCLA admit in April, and UT Austin back in December, so I had more time to connect with people from UT Austin and everything, and find, like, I would have had to go back and do some more financing, get the double of, like, almost double amount of money that I already had that I need to show for UT Austin. So it wasn't worth the trouble. I'm like, UT Austin
yeah,
is as good as
yeah.
any other school
It
in
is,
that
yeah,
league.
it
Yeah,
is. I mean, it's Ivy League. Come on.
yeah.
So, cool. Okay, so you picked UT Austin, and now that you've completed, one other thing that I noticed is that you mentioned that it's 10 month. Were you not afraid that if it's going to be only 10 months, like how am I going to get internship? I won't have chance to get an internship. It's going to be too fast paced. That just means like in and out, so you might not enjoy the university experience. Like did these thoughts didn't come to you?
Well, yeah. So I expressed some of these like I already had some of these concerns, and I expressed them to the people like who were already like when I talked to them who were already in the program or graduated, and they helped me ease down. Like they helped me figure out stuff, and they were like it's gonna be a similar experience no matter what. You just graduate early, and that would help you with an edge, because other programs other universities with the same program, people usually graduate in fall or in December, but you will be graduating right before fall, which gives you more time to or more opportunity, which actually worked out well in favor of my cohort when the market wasn't as good. Most of people who had healthcare experience were able to snag those jobs, way before than other people even graduated. So,
Mm,
well,
mm. And so
but yeah,
when does the program start and ends for UT Austin?
it starts in the beginning of July and it ends in May, like beginning of May. You'll be
Okay,
graduated by May.
got it. Okay. Um, okay, sounds it's so it's only 10 months. It's like such a hard thing to wrap my brain around. Okay, so July it starts and May it ends, and then most people will be doing the job search September, October to try to get the job for the
Mhm.
May out like
Right.
graduation. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean,
Okay.
it depends on what kind of companies they're applying for. So, for consultancies, they usually come in September, right? And the product-based companies, typically they started interviewing candidates in January, end of January, until
Mm,
we graduate. So yes, people who wanted like these consulting jobs or FANG job, because FANG hires all around the year. They started applying in September, but there were no FANG jobs, and when we
when
graduated,
you yeah right
yeah.
yeah
So
yeah yeah okay cool. What is the total cost of UT Austin? Like, how much did you spend? Like now that you graduated, like what was the total cost?
I think I spent close to 80K.
$80,000. Okay, got it. So 64 lakhs or so. Obviously, you took the loan. Was it like what was your visa interview for UT Austin?
Well, I went for the visa, like a bit of a backstory here. So I was playing badminton
Mm,
in February, I think, and I got an ACL, which I didn't know about until really late. I was like, I pulled a muscle or something, and brushed it off. And the ACL injury got worse right before the visa interview, and I wasn't able to walk without a limp. And someone
mm,
said if they find out about it, it can negatively affect your chances because they might think you might put pressure on the US medical system, right?
mm,
So also the consulate I had gotten for my visa interview was in Chennai, right? And I'm in Delhi. So I had to take a flight out. My dad went with me. We stayed there for 2 days. And when the visa interview before the visa interview starts, you are in the consulate for about 2 hours. And I was standing there for like 40 45 minutes, and it
mm,
was really tough to not limp. So I
mm,
mean,
mm,
it was it was tough. And well, the visa interviewer, the visa officer asked me a couple of questions about why UT Austin, about my financing. uh, the visa officer was obviously impressed by the school, and while talking he already approved my visa. And yeah.
Nice. Okay, so roommate. Let's talk about roommate. How did you find one? And like, was there a criteria, like an interview process for choosing a roommate? I'm assuming because you're a research kind of guy, so maybe like, okay,
There
here's
definitely was.
checklist for my. Yes. Cool.
So
So, yeah.
yeah, I already had gotten a place back in Feb, and it was one of those locations where all the people from MSP, like all the Indian people from MSP, wanted to live, and I
Mm,
already went in there and snagged it because I got the admission in the first like earlier application stage, so I had time to figure out these things. So the roommate that I initially had, he later on backed out in April, I think, start of April, that he
mm,
was going to, do his master's in UCLA. So now I could, I had the opportunity to select my own roommate. And there
mm,
were like 10 people who applied within 2 days. And I got to talking, my criteria were they should not have any problem with dietary preferences. So I shouldn't be in my like I shouldn't worry about in my own home to keep the utensils separate for certain kinds of food. Also, easygoing, should have a computer science degree, because I have a computer science degree. So I don't have to go around asking other people to match their answers. We could just, if we are both if we both do our assignments on our own, we could just match against each other, which worked out really well for me and him, because we didn't need a lot of people to rely on. And
Mm.
well, yeah, I mean, dedicated guy who is proactive, doesn't have easygoing. Yeah, those are the criteria.
Nice. Okay. Cool. So you landed. How? Where do you like? Where is the port of entry if you were to fly from India to US? Like, what's the port of entry? Is it Austin? Is there a direct flight, or do you fly into Dallas and then fly to Austin? Like, what's the path?
Well, it isn't, with like everything else in my life, it isn't a straightforward road. It's as convoluted as it can get. So, well, it wasn't my first time flying international, but like, you need to buckle up for this ride that I'm
Mm.
going to take you on. We had booked
Mm.
a flight with KLM, Royal Dutch Airlines, and the whole Russia Ukraine thing was going on, and the
Mm.
situation had gotten worse. So we had a connecting flight in Amsterdam, and Amsterdam is a huge airport, right?
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
but I wasn't worried about it. We had like 5 hours to catch the other flight, so we had to like kill like 5 hours somehow. So that's what I figured. But fate had like different plans for me. As we landed, I saw a humongous line in front of the humongous security line, but I had no idea what that line actually was for. So after 4 hours, when I reached the end of that line, we found out that there was a workers' strike going on because of the immigrant something issue from Ukraine. And out of the 15 security points, there were just two open. And as soon as I,
Mm.
you know, went in front of that line, like it was my chance to do the security thing. The other worker, like out of those two, one of our workers, like uh, well, it's 5 p.m. It's the end of my shift, and he left. There was just one point open after that, but got my security done. As soon as
Oh
we
no.
got through the
Yeah.
security line, uh, he found out that our flight left half an hour ago,
Wow.
and it was my first time flying alone, like
Yeah.
international.
Yeah.
And like there were a lot of people there who had missed like every flight, every connecting flight that was going through that airport. People had missed it, so we
Mm.
weren't alone at least. So
Mm.
the next line, like people were standing in this line in front of KLM's office in on the Amsterdam airport to rebook their flights. But once I like there was another line for 6 hours or so over there.
Mm.
So
Mm.
I got the on call support with them, and they were like, if you want to rebook your flight, we can do that, but you have to pay like 5,000 euros right now. And the flight that I had booked previously was for 600 euros, and they were like, we would refund it. I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm paying 5,000 euros right now. And thankfully, there were a lot of American people who had missed their flight, so they started recording, like broadcasting the whole thing online, and
Mm.
it got them like KLM eventually got their shit together, and they were like, we are gonna rebook the flights for you for free of
Mm.
cost. But that rebooking process took like 6 hours, 6 to 7 hours again. And initially, they suggested we didn't have to pay 5,000 euros. At least I was like, that's a good thing at least. But
Mm.
we still had to wait for 12 more hours once our flights got rebooked after standing in line for 5 hours in security, 6 hours in the rebooking line. And it was already 3 a.m. In the morning, and they rebooked our flights. But Parthiv and I were separated. He got Atlanta as point of entry, and I got Minneapolis. But I was like, after this, whole debacle, it's gonna be fine. At least we will be in the U.S. So at 3 a.m. or so, we just went to take a nap, because we on the airport on a wooden bench, because we didn't have a Schengen visa and we cannot go out of the airport. So
Yeah.
I slept there for like 3 hours, and then I got booted out of that bench as well. shop owner came back and he was like, "You need to sleep somewhere else." I'm like, "Dude." So
Oh wow.
we
Yeah.
often joke about this ordeal. Like
Yeah.
we used to tell people like we were homeless on the first day. We began our quest to to get here, so we are not easily phased. Everything is gonna be onwards and upwards from this point on.
Right.
And
Right.
well, UD Austin's
Mm.
slogan is also onwards and upwards. Well,
Mm. Wow, what a journey. So okay, so Minneapolis, how was the port of entry? Like, did you had a fun interview over there, or was it pretty much straightforward?
well, of course, with like everything is with me. This was also fun. So the TSA agent, he asked me a few questions about the after the interview, and well, this is interesting. He initially asked me, "Have you been to the US before?" And I was like, "Of course not," because I hadn't. But then he, started talking with me about. He checked on my I-20 that I was going to, be in Austin, and he was like, "Oh, this is a fun town." He started smooth talking me and to lull me into a false sense of security. And after the whole thing, he casually asked me again, "Man, have you been? Austin is a great place. Have you been to Texas before?" I'm like, "No." And then I later on realized he was trying to trip me up. Like, "Have you been to the
Mm.
US before?" And then he later asked me, "Have you been to Texas before?" To
If you've never been to US, how would you go? How would you
well,
go to Texas before?
so
Yeah.
to weed out people who have had been here illegally and stuff like that. I mean, yeah,
Mm.
those guys are
Mm.
really slick.
Okay. But you made it, then you got the connecting flight to Austin, I'm assuming, and then I'm assuming someone came to pick you up to get you the apartment. How did you book the apartment? Like, what was how far is the airport from the place that you have to go?
So it's far. It's like 20-minute car ride. So in
Okay.
Texas, which is like a lot of miles because the speed limit over there is like crazy, and
Mm.
so it would have been like 20 miles, some 18 miles, something like that.
Mm.
But yeah, one of my friends, friend's friend who lived in Austin that time, he picked me up and me and Parthiv up, and he dropped us to the location that we were residing in. And let me tell you how it looks. So UT Tower, and
Mm.
then there is a fountain right in front. You can see the Texas Capitol building right in front of like there's nothing in the middle. So there's just a driveway, and right in front you can see the Texas Capitol building. Or if you click a
Mm.
picture of Texas Capitol building, you can see the UT Tower behind you. So it's a great photo shoot spot.
Mm.
Slogan: "Go Longhorns!" Their football team.
Right. Okay. Yeah, cool. And Austin is also, for people who don't know, it's like the youngest city. Like the median age is like 25, 26. So,
Right.
yeah, and it's beautiful. That's what I've heard. And obviously now the tech market is also booming, or starting to boom, is what I've heard as well. So that's cool. What's the cost of living in UT Austin?
So they mentioned about 20,000 for an year, and so like I live 10 minutes off campus. Like it was a 10-minute walk to campus, so like a 2-minute drive if you want to drive or get a razor scooter or something. So my rent was 1,700 for a 2B2A. So
Mm.
we had two bathrooms and two bedrooms, and I just had like we didn't share rooms, so it was just me and Parthiv in the room in the apartment.
So eight
So
hundred
eight
dollars or
fifty,
so.
yeah. So
Yeah.
if you don't eat out much, and we spend like 300 to 400 on groceries
Mm.
combined,
And
I
then
think fifteen
utilities.
hundred dollars per month should be more than enough. More than enough
Mm.
for you.
Mm. Yeah, but that's pricey though. I mean, for like an living cost, it is
Yeah,
pricey. But of course, you decided to choose your having your own room. You could have shared, and that would have dropped the price by like half or
right,
something
right.
like that. So 1,500 or so. Now, let me talk about like on-campus jobs. Like, did you have any, or you're like, it's 10 months. I don't have time for on-campus job. Let me just like
So
study.
they don't recommend, like my program director, they don't recommend getting a job on like an on-campus job. But a
Mhm.
couple of people in my cohort, they got it in like the last semester in spring, because the job market wasn't looking promising. But I didn't get it, because I just wanted to focus all my energy on you know work.
Finding
Nothing
a
against
job.
the people, yeah,
Yeah.
nothing against people who got it. You might have been prepared before than I was for the job interviews, but yeah, I didn't get it. Also, you cannot apply for TA and RA roles in our program. It's
Hmm.
not permitted, because it's a 10-month program, so you need to focus all of your energy on the program itself and job
Hmm.
search.
Interesting. Okay. And so the people, when you say second semester, so how many semesters? Is it trimester pattern or is it like?
So it's a trimester. So not exactly a trimester. It's like 2 full semesters and 1.5 months of summer. So
Oh,
in the
gotcha. Okay.
summer
So
months,
summer semester and then two full semesters. Got
yes.
it.
So in the summer month, you get like 2 courses, 3 credits each, so 6 credits total. And the fall semester, you have to do like 16 credits, and in the spring semester, you have to do 14 credits. So total of 36 credits, right?
Wow. Okay. So 16 credits. Is that like 4 or 5 courses?
6.
Oh my gosh. That is okay. That makes sense why you wouldn't have on campus job because
Right.
16 credits almost is like 40 hours or so. Like if you convert those credits into
Mhm.
like the hours it's going to require you to be on campus and take the classes and all of that. Okay. Wow. So it is like crazy fast, I would say. Like
It's
how is the coursework? Like do you like it? Like how you said 6 credits, 16, 14, and then you're done. So but like
so like this is a program that I would suggest is for fine tuning people who already have the skills,
mm,
right?
mm,
It's not a program that you should hope to come in and gain a new skill. You can, but it's going to take you double the amount of work that other people do. That's why they go for people who already have some experience working in the field.
mm,
And because business analytics is not a tied to a particular kind of job kind of program, you can
mm,
go for a data science role, data analyst role, product manager role, or product analyst. Like a horde of different kind of roles that you could do after. So people usually get here to fine tune their skills and like learn certain aspects of uh, what they've already been doing, and get some information about, yes, so get some
yeah.
information about various other skills that have been introduced in the market recently. But you don't come here when you don't have any experience with coding or anything like coding
Mm,
or data science, or because the course is
yeah.
heavy data science, you're gonna struggle a lot if you
Mm,
do that. And
mm,
I've seen people struggle a lot. You will get a job, but then you won't be, satisfied with spending the kind of money that you are spending over here to
mm.
learn nothing, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. I was just pulling up so that we can kind of talk through the program. Is it which one is it?
yeah, option three.
This one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So this is how the course, and you obviously it looks like you don't really have a choice. The summer,
Yeah,
these are
in
the two
summary.
courses. Yeah. Okay.
So it starts with a couple of seminars in July, and they teach you about, like, they give you a brief of various things that you're gonna do, and like various fast track courses on stats, on programming and machine learning. And after that, you start with this like summer semester.
Okay. And then comes the fall, which you have to take 15, and then you pick. Do you have to pick? Which one did you pick?
So I did 16 credits in fall, but yeah, I chose optimization, financial management, information management, advanced machine learning, unstructured
Mm,
data. So like everything but the last one. I didn't choose supply chain.
gotcha. Ooh, marketing analytics.
Oh, it's a really tough course, man. I mean, it was an eye
Is
opener for
it?
me. It's really
Yeah.
tough. I mean, you talk about a lot of marketing and like various strategies in marketing, and then using like he took us from basic logistic regression to decide the price of car to
Mm.
doing reinforcement learning towards the end of it. I'm like mind blown.
Love it. Is there even a possibility for you to do an internship and extend the program if you want to?
Um, I've heard someone do it, but usually it doesn't happen.
Okay. Uh, just because it's like so packed and you do it.
Right.
But if you do want to, you could request and maybe see if they will allow
Right. Yeah.
you.
On a person by person basis, it could be done. Like complete a couple of semesters this year, and then you defer your admission to the next year, and then do the program
Mm.
next. Because it's not gonna like these courses are not repeated like in every cycle, so it's a set course like set timeline for the program. So you cannot do the September course in January. You have to wait for the next September.
Mm. Mm. Okay. And um, yeah, so it's pretty much packed, like packed, and then hopefully when you are in, I'm assuming when you are in the fall semester, you're like looking for a job, and then continue to keep looking for job while
So
while
in December we have a 1 month break,
yeah,
and
winter
that's
break.
yes. So that's the opportunity for you to prepare for everything for the companies that are going to come in January. Bec- The product based companies, because I applied for those. Yeah. So I started, preparing in December, and January. Started applying in February finally, and yeah, and I was like the course was ending in the end of April, and I was going to graduate on May 5th. I found a job in June, and my OPD started on June 13th. I found a job on June 1st, and it was a contract role. And then, referring to my previous story, as I got laid off from there, and then
Yeah,
found another role. Like didn't find anything for 2.5 months. Did an internship and a
yeah,
research assistantship in my school, and then found something finally in the beginning of November, and then found a full time job in like starting January 2nd.
yeah. And for people who are interested in learning about this part of the story, we have the full detail, like 1 hour podcast. You should go and watch it. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, about the campus life, it's super fun. There are so many like Austin. There's no city more beautiful than Austin than in spring, and
Mm.
it's really amazing. In winter, there are a couple of days where the temperatures will drop down to -9 degrees Celsius or 10 Fahrenheit, 12
Mm.
Fahrenheit, and and it's super fun. There are so many things and clubs on campus. It's an amazing amalgamation of retro with a high tech contemporary vibe going on. I remember I constantly kept wishing while being on campus. Constantly kept wishing I had come here for if I would just have come here for an undergrad degree or a PhD degree, so I would have more time to spend in the campus and meet a lot of people. You find all sorts of interesting people from all around the world. Like the diversity is amazing in Austin, as you know.
Mm.
It's
Mm.
we
Yeah.
have a slogan,
Yeah.
"Keep Austin weird." So yeah,
Keep Austin weird. Love it. How's the safety? Wise, like, is it safe
super safe.
enough? Yeah.
Like well, I don't know if I should say it on a podcast, but I have returned home drunk out of my head at 5 a.m. in the morning, walking 3 miles. So it's super safe.
Whoa. The, that is scary, but good that it is safe enough to do that as well. So
Yeah.
that's cool. Um, what are some of the harsh truth now that you finished your masters, you're working? What are some of the truths that you wish, like, I wish I knew these things before coming to United States?
So, being an international student in the USA comes with some real talk you got to be ready for, right? First off, you got to toughen up mentally, and rejections and setbacks, they're a part of the deal. So you got to have a thick skin to roll with the punches. Then there's a whole organization game. It's not just about acing your classes, but you suddenly are in charge of adulting big time, right? Cooking, laundry, job hunting, squeezing in some workouts. uh, Life gets busy really quick, and you might find yourself with less time for stuff that you used to do. But hey, it's all a part of the hustle, right?
Yeah.
And but
Mm.
there's a silver lining, right? The friendships that you make along the way during your grad school are solid gold. Think of your fellow international students as a ride or die kind of crew.
Yeah.
They get what you're doing through, you know, through the entire barrage of all the assignments and all
Mm.
the hustle that you're going through or doing.
Mm.
And these bonds, they stick like glue for long
Mm.
after graduation. You have that squad with you for life. So
Mm. Yeah, I love it. Would you recommend UT Austin for people who are thinking about like, oh, should I go or not? It's 10 months,
absolutely,
so scary.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if you have the experience and if you are well versed in your like domain, and you just want some program to help you reach that next level and fine tune you, then UD Austin MSBA is an amazing program for you. And the university is amazing. We have Nobel Prize winners, Fields Medal winner, which are like Nobel Prize in math, and Turing Award winners, which is like Nobel Prize in computer science. So the culture is amazing, diversity is amazing, food is really good. You'll find taco trucks all around the city, and
Mm.
those are one of the best tacos that I've ever had, like ever. And like Austin
Mm.
has really authentic taco shops. Well,
Nice. Yeah.
it's super safe. 65 of the students are undergrad programs, so you'll be in and around a young crowd. So it's really vibrant. The only thing that I didn't like was 2 and 3 months of 2 to 3 months of scorching heat. So if you cannot handle the heat, you should not go for this program, quite literally and metaphorically.
Yeah, love it.
People these days are really worried about the market and the recession and everything, but you don't have to worry about that. You'll definitely find a job over here. Just be ready to hustle and be ready to give it your all.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. 100%. Again, thank you so much. This was so in depth. I loved learning everything about UT Austin, and I can't wait to bring you back or maybe perhaps do a live campus tour with you. But until our next one,
Keep smiling and keep hustling and go Longhorns.
nice.